Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Welcome to yet another epic edition of the Great Debaters Contest. I am your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyambok.
Today we ask if parents should be allowed to defy the laws of nature and choose the sex of their children.
Proposing the motion, we have Loreto Limuru, and they have told their opponents that chacun pour soi et Dieu pour tout, which means everyone for himself, but God for us all. As on the opposing side, we have Makueni Boys, who have simply stated that their sweaters may be red, but they bring the fire. So let's see who's the greatest debater.
The first proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Life is full of choices. And the most fundamental choice should be the selection of the sex of a child. Now, in this context, a child is an unborn baby, while a parent refers to the person who has the rights and the legal guardianship of a child at birth. And sex here is the biological genitalia of a child. Since time immemorial, African communities and a section of the Hindu community have been known to abort the children that are born female. Why? Because they prefer the males. The case is same in China. They abort the females. Now, which is the lesser evil? To allow me to abort a child, or to give me the go-ahead to select and determine the sex of that child? In doing this, you will be reducing the cases of children being abandoned, the cases of children being killed, and the cases of selective abortion. Now, selective or sex selection allows the parent to alleviate from gender-linked diseases, a good example being child syndrome. If I'm married to a man who carries the gene of child syndrome, unfortunate for me, if I give birth to a female child, it is proved that child will have child syndrome. Trust you me, it is not easy to bring up such a child. As a mother, it is the joy of parenthood, of every mother, to bring up a child that you love, you adore, and you hold close to your heart. A child who lives an easy life, not a child who's sick, yet you know you had the chance to prevent that child from suffering in that disease, child syndrome, hemophilia. It is not fair. Give a child a good life by determining the sex and ensuring some of the sex-linked diseases are not going to get to the child. Now, sex selection allows a child and a mother to bond. Since the day it's in the womb to the 9 months, it will be carried. In doing this, the mother will be able to give it a name early. You speak to your child in the womb using its name. How wonderful. Also, you will be able to buy clothes for the correct sex of the child. You know it's female. You know it's female, so you buy the female clothes. And you'll be able to decorate the nursery to suit the sex of the child. Then why not? Listen, if you want to eat a toad, go for the fat and juicy one. If you want a child, go for the right sex, for the sex that you want. Choose the sex you want.
First opposer, you have 3 minutes. You can give us your opening statements.
From Makueni Boys, Dennis Gitonga. And one day, I want to be a parent. The process of childbearing, the process of childbirth should be a process whereby there is awe and wonder. And this moment, it's the time whereby parents bring up some issues. Oh, I want a girl, I want a boy. And this makes the process itself a very fun process. If we choose the sex of this child, all this will just go away. All this will just be carried away. And there will be no reason for you to be a parent. Well, I love to be a good parent who will take care of the child, male or female. Having to choose sex, of a child. We are in a very dynamic world where technology is changing day to day. And one thing, the technology has enabled us to choose the sex of this child. So one time it will come to a place whereby someone will want to choose how their child's eyes look like. You'll want to choose how the hairline of your child looks like. Well, we are moving towards perfection, but really, how can we achieve that? How can we achieve that? We should not encourage this right to be put in place. Accept what you get, male or female. Take care of that child, and he or she will grow to be a responsible person in the future if you do your role well as a parent. Like it or not, we are slowly moving to the part whereby we'll be having designer babies. Humans love success, right? You all love success. And one thing is that if we can find a method whereby success is offered, a method which can offer success to provide the gender of this child. Okay, there are some biological methods. If you look at it this way, when you go to the hospital, that is the advanced hospitals which offer such, they'll give you a method whereby the woman has to be, let's say, has to give the embryo, which is then fertilized. And then it is replanted again, and they give two. So in countries like China, whereby you are allowed to give only one child, you're telling me that if you have twins, where will this other child go? Let me finish by saying this. Living in a country that allows only one child, you're supposed to only have one child. So you'll have to do away with this child. Finally, the cost. Just look at what you're giving so as to ensure that this child is growing up the right way. If you're not ready to have a boy specifically or a girl specifically, then you should not be given the chance to be a parent. Thank you.
We'll now get cross-examinations, beginning with the proposing team.
My worthy opponent has said that the process is fun, and by allowing the parent to choose the sex of the child, we'll have done away with the fun part of it. But take into consideration this story. Susan Gunn and Robert Gunn, they live in south of Europe. They are married, or at least they were happily married, for the first half of their marriage until they decided to get a child. And so after deciding to get a child, the firstborn was a boy. And so they thought maybe, probably, the second child would be a girl. And so one night they decided to work again. They decided to turmoil from sunset till sunrise trying to look for a girl. But lo and behold, their second child was still a boy. They couldn't afford to be disappointed. They decided to embrace the child. But after some time, they decided maybe we might still be able to afford a third child. So they went into this thing that my worthy opponents have called fun. And they tried yet again. They never gave up. Susan Grant bore her third child. And lo and behold, it was still a boy. So is it still fun? Is it still fun going through the same thing over and over again and not yielding the results that you expected? Is it not monotonous? Is it not boring? Are we going to increase marital constraint because you're not allowing the parents choose the sex of the child? Are we going to take Susan Grant and Robin Grant through emotional turmoil of trying each and every single night to try and get a girl? I'm giving you one solution. Let us just allow Susan Gunn and Robert Gunn to have a baby girl and we'll be done with the monotonous process. You've also said that there's a problem because after choosing the sex of the child, maybe, just maybe, the next time I might want my child to have blue eyes, orange lips, brown hair. There are many things that I would want to fit the specifications of my child, but you forget one thing. You are trying to criticize me for wanting my child to have blue eyes, but are you forgetting that you also do the same, Judge Booker? When you go for a party, all girls in the house, and this boy turns to you, don't you wish you had blue eyes and you find yourself in the cosmetic surgery the following day? Why criticize me for wanting a child to have blue eyes, red hair, but you, while you're born, after you grow up, you still want to change the same things you criticize me for wanting to change them. So what are we arguing about here? Is it that you should deny me the right of changing the color of the eyes of my child at birth so that she can grow up and let her change them when she's 13? No, that does not make sense at all. Again, it might be expensive, but is kidney dialysis not expensive? Is a heart transplant not expensive? Necessity is the mother of invention. Trust you me, even if it's expensive, man will work day and night to make sure they have that money. So let's not talk about expenses here. And I'll end by saying this. Life isn't about finding what you love, it's about creating it. So come with me, let's create children. Thank you.
We'll now get the cross-examination of the opposing team. You have 3 minutes.
Saluting you all, Makueni Boys. Have you ever heard of a country whereby they're importing men because there is gender imbalance? Or you are exporting ladies to save a country which has insufficient women? Definitely, nature balances herself. So, if nature is stretching both our hands to help us, to balance ourselves as human beings, then who are we to extend our hands and show Mother Nature we still can offer you some little help here? I begin with my first proposer who talked about a selective abortion. She asked for a better method. I give her one. You can adopt the child to somebody else. For Christians like me, have you ever tried to imagine this? If Moses' mother did not adopt him to Pharaoh's daughter, I don't think there would be a Bible. I wouldn't have a faith. I wouldn't have anything to base on. Moses told me I was created. Moses told me that God loved me. God started saving me. So if he wasn't adopted somewhere else, then where would I be? An atheist. She also came up very strongly to talk about selecting gender being a fundamental right. And I would like to ask her, just to remind her that fundamental rights are the rights that you can do without. It's core. How many people, how many parents have died just because they don't have a son or a daughter? Actually, I was not selected and I was born. And my parents haven't died. So, basically, it's not fundamental because with or without it, human life continues, still in undisrupted procedures. Then you talked about preferences. And I would just like to refer you to one thing. When you were standing outside there, the first thing when you arrived was to toss a coin. You either have a head or a tail. You are either born male or female. You are either born or you are not born. So basically, there are some things that you don't choose. And the things that you can't choose, that's where religion comes in. And that's why you give it all to God. Let him choose. Let you live. After all, if you can't love a boy or a child, you are a boy or your daughter, can you even love anyone? I doubt. You talked about correcting genetic disorders. Well, that will take us straight to the road of cloning. It was strictly followed, and the hallmark of its failure was marked when Dolly died, February 14th, 2003. So, are you telling me if I have money to invest, I just go find a business that is falling apart in the next few years, and I throw all my money there? Okay, I'm not that stupid. I would rather not do that. And finally, I remember somebody talking about bonding. Well, if there is a new definition in the dictionary that makes natural selection a basic thing so that you can select, so that you can bond, then please give it to us. Kennedy Kyoko. Thank you.
Mama napiga simu kutoka simu ya jamii. Nafurahi na kuichukua. Ni aje mami? Aniambia watoto hawana chakula huko nyumbani. Na wewe ushapata kazi huko mjini. Mwenda tezi na omo, marejeo ni ngamani. Niliposikia hivyo nilienda nje kwa rafiki. Nilimwambia nisaidie, nina shida. Niko mjini, mama anahitaji pesa. Na nauli, mimi sina hizo hela. Alicheka akaniambia nisipatwe na shaka. Akawasha simu na akasema M-Pesa.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap, or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
My name is Maina Victor from Makueni Boys, And I have a question. How would you feel if you learned that you are a genetically modified organism with no choice of what to become or what to wish for?
There's a part where he said, if you try and you're getting the same gender and you want to get, let's say you've been getting girls and you want a boy and it can't happen, he gave us the option of adopting. Maybe I don't want to adopt. Maybe I want my own. I want to have a girl of my own. So I don't want to adapt. So what will happen to those people who want to own this baby?
Third proposer, you may respond.
Jane Pauline Pamba, Loreto High School, Limuru. I'd like to start with the question that was posed by Nancy Mudhoni. You asked that if you gave birth to sons and your neighbors wanted sons and the whole nation wanted sons, then who would give birth to the girls? My grandmother gave birth to a girl, my mother gave birth to a girl, I will give birth to girls, and the girls will give birth to, your sons will marry. Choosing the gender of your child, this process, whether you're using the timing method, like the Shuttles method, it was brought about by the Landrum B Shuttles, who said that if you have sexual intercourse close to ovulation, there are higher chances of getting a boy. If you have sexual intercourse like 2 to 4 days to ovulation, you have the higher chances of having a girl because the Y chromosome is faster, yes, but dies faster. There are more natural methods of choosing gender other than just the technological method. And the scientific method, actually, it contributes to the revenue of the country because the money that they pay to choose the gender of their child, the government gets the revenue, they get to build the economy of the country. Then the infrastructure is built, the economy rises, everybody gains. Yeah. And it is also actually, everybody can be able to access it because even the timing method is accessible to everyone. It's cheap, it's free. When you step out into the fog of reality, either two things happen. You either step on solid ground or you learn how to fly. Everyone is afraid of change. What happened when the liver transplants came about? Everyone was afraid, they were like, oh God, I would die. Or like, oh God, kidney transplant. Oh God, heart transplant. What if my blood doesn't get in through? But then look at what it's done for the people who are alive now because of those transplants. The Mater Hospital, it came about, it's brought job opportunities too. Okay, when the trains first arrived, people thought they would go so fast, the air would be sucked out of their lungs. But they're still using them anyway. And people are frightened of what they think is new and is shameful to the society. Okay, this is said by Stuart in the UK, but we should all be able to embrace change. What science revolution has brought for us, nothing else would have brought for us. Nothing else. The reason you're here is because of science. Thank you.
Let me tell you something. Nature balances itself. If you are here, you have sons only. Someone else somewhere has daughters only. I think that is perfect balancing. There is nowhere you want to tell me you are solving gender imbalance by using scientific techniques that don't even guarantee 85% efficiency. About Moses, so who am I to counter God anyway? It is in the biblical books. But then, in Moses' case, his mother was trying to get somebody to look after him. She wasn't after any female child. She wasn't after anything of the sort. I want to also inform you, dear members of the debate house, from a religious point of view, quoting from the accounts of creation, it is evident that it wasn't God's plan for man to be a co-creator with him. But he said man to be a procreator. You procreate what he has already put up. I know the genesis of this. When the serpent fooled Eve into taking the forbidden fruit, he said to her, eat the fruit and you will be like God. What does that mean? It wasn't God's initial plan for man to be like him, but science has deceived our minds into thinking that we can be like God. We can make human beings like he does. You know, God is fair enough to give you what you deserve. Let's make the world the little Eden it used to be. Your faces, ladies and gentlemen, as I can see, betray the guilt in you. How can you stand against the man who owes your life? Now, once again, choosing the sex of your kids is technically possible thanks to the advances in fertility treatment. Unfortunately, today's sex selection options are not perfectly effective, as I mentioned to you, affordable, or even available in some places. Moreover, the most accurate methods are even the most expensive. Come on, if you are telling me to go and get a child for 1.7 million, yet I can do it naturally, get a more healthy child without pain, there's no point there. Now, my opinion is that it is a gift from God to get a baby, whether boy or girl. We should be grateful and happy when we can hold a baby in our name and claim to be our fruit, not our production. Joel Muwa, once again, thank you all.
Closing arguments. The proposing team, you have 1 minute.
We simply are refusing to accept that parents should be allowed to choose the sex of their children because it is unethical. But what is ethics? It's not a matter of what I feel or what you feel. It's not a matter of being associated with religion. Ethics is what is right or wrong. And as we've said, there is nothing wrong with choosing the sex of their children, of your children. You're simply giving your children a better life. Let's stop being afraid. Let's embrace change. The same way you embraced the flat screens and did away with the cathode ray tubes. The same way you left all the other phones and chose the touch screens. Let's stop being afraid of change. Let's move on. Thank you.
Opposing team, you have 1 minute.
Ethics are not about what we feel, but what we feel determines what is right or wrong, whether we feel for it or we feel against it. It's human. And I would just like to tell you one thing. If I were afforded a chance to change just one thing about the English dictionary, I would change its definition for the word parent. A parent is not just somebody who can sire me. Everybody above the age of 14 can sire, but you can't be a parent. There is more to a parent. There is love, there is affection, and it's love that makes you who you are, and it's love that separates you from the rest of the animal kingdom, because you can love or hate and judge. And finally, before I leave this stage, I would just like to remind each and every one of you the main difference between a boy and a girl, just the X and the Y chromosome. If you can't love a person because he has a gametic cell with a Y chromosome, then how will you love that person while he has 23 somatic cells that you didn't even determine what went inside there? Kennedy Kyoko. Well, and on behalf of the whole of Makueni community, I wrap our case. Thank you.
Kennedy Kyoko. Very good and powerful speaker. And I think as a debater, I have watched you grow over time. I loved your use of rhetorical questions and the fact that you even offered, some solutions. Joel, again, a very powerful speaker, but good job, my Makueni boys. You have represented your county very well.
Loreto High School. You are girls, is it? Makueni Boys, you are boys, is it? I mean, boy, girl, that's debate and entire. You did your best, and all I can say to the two teams is, well done.
Joel, you're a good debater. Although I said at one point, don't dwell so much on one point. You can always transit to another point rather than dwelling so much on another. Jane, you have a dialogue dialogue style of presentation, and it was a good presentation. I think from both teams, you have your strengths and you also have your weaknesses. But I believe in this particular debate, your strengths outweighed your weaknesses.
The judges have found it important to tie the two schools at 72%. Please give them a round of applause.
Bravo to both of them, and we hope to see more debates like this and at this level. Thank you, Makueni, and thank you, Loreto High School.
So from us at the Great Debaters Contest, I am your host, Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. Keep watching for more great debates.
Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.